sent to Jericho seal. Camel dust heralds our arrival. New Christ, but new.
All right, so we got, is it Sarah in Pullman, Washington?
Hello.
Hi.
How you doing?
Thanks for holding so long.
Oh, it's fine.
Hey. What's up, Sarah?
Well, I have a creationist roommate, and I've had her for a semester now. But my real thing is more about feminist views than the science, because I realized I could never teach her, that she's sort of too far gone for that.
Sorry to hear that.
And she didn't think that, the first feminist movement was good, and I basically told her that we were treated as property. Women were, and she said, I don't think so. And I was wondering, how to respond to that. Like, well, I'd love not to think so, but it doesn't change the fact.
Oh, we've lost the audio again.
That's okay. Well, we can answer Sarah up to this point.
Yeah, hang on, Sarah, if you can, and we'll address it. Go.
Well, aren't there many passages in the Bible in which we essentially see?
Oh yeah, there's women obey your husband and be subservient to him as he's subservient before Christ. Submit to the church, etc. There's Paul saying that he doesn't permit a woman to be in charge over a man or speak in church, that type of thing.
Yeah.
There's various ways to interpret it, but the key factor is that
women could.
There's nothing in the Bible or Christianity or I guess some of the other religions, but just focusing on Christianity in particular, there's nothing in there that talks about equality. There's nothing in there that even implies equality.
Lower guys so that we can...
Yeah, and in fact, everything about it implies an inequality. And if you listen to people, actually, Beth sent me a link the other day of Kent Hovind in one of his lectures talking about the fall and Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden and eating the fruit. And Kent Hovind's take on this has got to be one of the most offensive, sexist things I've ever heard. So if you have a young Earth creationist who's a fan of things like Hovind, there's a clip that they can actually watch where he says that Eve was duped by the snake. She was conned into being into sinning
because she was just that dumb.
But Adam willingly sinned as a sort of self-sacrifice to join his betrayer, his hopelessly depraved wife in her sin. That this was a self-sacrificing effect that mirrored the effect, mirrored the actions of Jesus sacrificing himself for everybody.
It makes him even dumber.
Yeah, yes. But I'd say even if Hovind's interpretation is incredibly sexist, but also I'd say that it would be, it would make Adam even dumber. It would be, hey, God, you made this woman for me, and this ain't working out. She wouldn't listen to you at all. She went and ate this, fruit. Let's get rid of her and make a new one. I mean, that's what the righteous man does in that scenario.
Yeah, it's... you can just look at the way in which, well, for example, marriage over hundreds and hundreds of years was all about, what did you do with your daughter since they were more or less useless and they couldn't run things? Well, you married them off so that you could form bonds between, say, one powerful family and another powerful family. They were
53 shekels and a goat.
Yeah, that's what marriage always was. They were like they were prearranged sort of business and political arrangements between powerful families, and it really wasn't about love and romance, and it really wasn't certainly about what the girl wanted, because what she wanted didn't really mean anything. Yeah. It was kind of irrelevant.
That and the idea that if you wanted a wife, one of the best loopholes in the Bible was to go out and find a woman that you found attractive and rape her. Because if you did, then she'd be required to marry you.
Woo! Yeah, all I'd have to do is pay Dad 50 shekels.
Oh, Sarah's back.
Hi.
Oh, hello. Yes.
Hi. Okay. I hope you heard most of that while we were talking.
Yeah, I actually heard all of it.
Okay.
But I was also, part of it is that she doesn't, I think, know the history of, like, the feminist movement and stuff. And so I try to tell her that, we were just property, and that, that's how marriage was just getting rid of the female. Essentially, and she says, I just don't think so. And is there any response to that at all, or?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, you can tell her, it's the whole lead a horse to water thing, right? But it's up to her at a certain point. You can say, there is history, there are accounts, there's all sorts of literature that you can read and bone up on these subjects, and you can take courses. You can choose to educate yourself on these things that you'd rather deny or not. But at a certain point, the choice has to be hers. And if she does the whole, monkey see, thing, then if that's the choice she makes, then there probably isn't a whole lot that you can do. I mean, she has to make the choice to want to learn this stuff on her own. And if her preconceptions are things that she needs to protect too desperately at this point to sort of keep herself in an emotionally safe spot, then that's kind of where she is right now. She doesn't want to get out of her comfort zone. She doesn't want to get out of it.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of talking to some of the conspiracy theorists where they say, well, here's what I believe and why. And then if you offer evidence or point out flaws in the theory or anything else, the answer isn't, and I'm generalizing a bit here, the answer is often the same. It's, oh, well, I just don't believe that. You're a fool for believing that. You believe what the government told you? How stupid are you?
Yeah.
That type of thing. They're too far gone.
They got to you too, did they?
No answer and no approach. If your response is, I don't believe the evidence that you've presented, and therefore I'm not changing my mind, then I guess the only thing you could ask, okay, is there any evidence that I could present that would convince you? If their answer is no, then you're done wasting time. If their answer is yes, now maybe you've got an avenue where you can figure out what evidence you might want to come up with.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. That's all.
Hey, thank you, Sarah, for calling.
Yeah, I guess that's one of the most common questions that we should probably ask across the board is, all right, if you're unwilling to change your mind because of what I've already said or what you've already read or whatever, what would it take to make you change your mind?
We have to remember that there is the emotional tie that religious and certain people who, let's say if you want to talk about the conspiracy theorists, people who adopt a patently irrational belief usually do so for emotional reasons and not rational ones, because if it's an irrational belief. And if holding on to that belief is something that they think protects them emotionally, is giving them comfort in confronting things about life that they don't really understand, or is helping to sort of validate or reinforce ideas that they want to be true because they find other things about life either scary or whatnot, then the emotional defense mechanism is something that is very difficult to hack your way through. If the whole creation-evolution debate were simply about, well, what does the scientific evidence say? Let's look at it objectively and with open minds, both sides. All right. Evolution wins, right? It would be that simple. The fact that it is this protracted fight between, on the part of the pro-science side to kind of keep these patently religious mythical ideas out of science classes where they don't belong is because it's the emotional tie that people who believe in creationism have to wanting, the desire to believe that there is this all-loving, purposeful God who's watching over me and he's going to send me to heaven and I'm safe, I'm sound, I don't have to be scared of anything, I don't have to be scared of death, I don't have to be scared of the universe or the world because there's all a plan. And if evolution, if that's true, then that takes all that away, and then now I'm really scary, and I'm really scared, and I'm really upset, and I feel like I have no direction, da-da-da-da-da. So that's what that's all about. So that can be the hard thing to cut through.
Ever haunted on the drive, now maybe 70 Jericho.